Almost all these pictures were flames coming out of the exhaust. That is because they either blew a turbo and the oil is causing it, or an oil seal on the exhaust turbine side of the turbo failed putting oil into the exhaust. Same things occurs on semi-trucks when they are pulling hard and lose a oil seal on the exhaust turbine side of a turbo. Most fires inside the hoods are injectors failing. These are mostly GE locomotives. The fuel systems on these motors are exterior, where the fuel systems on EMDs are inside the block. The fires on the wheels are mostly caused by brake or traction motor problems. All of these are simply a lack of proper maintenance, or of extending operation time between inspections and service, as the brake failure, hot boxing and turbo seal failures are all things that are both slow to occur, and get to failure, and are also things that the railways have actual procedures and set schedules for, which likely have been either pushed to the extreme, or have simply not been done, due to either financial pressure, or simply not having the training anymore to do it properly, or the people to do it thoroughly. Turbo failure is easy to predict, as your oil use will start to climb, as the seals fail over time, but if the culture is pushing to run the unit, and not repair it before it fails, you will eventually lose them for long expensive downtime. Same for brake systems, those inspections have been determined in the past by massive accidents, same with wheel bearing failures. Short-term saving, but you destroy the rails, which are both long-term expensive to replace, and also are a massive investment, that you can literally destroy large sections with a single failed train, dragging a wheel and ripping rail out behind it. The car of scrap catching fire is generally from then filling the rail car with shredded motor vehicles, where some parts with crushed airbags can ignite, after being contaminated with fuel residues and acid, and then set the shredded plastic on fire, leading to the fire in the open-top car. Thank you so much for your comments from the previous video. We have collected the main ones and created this video. Comment on other videos as well. To a train enthusiast, those kinds of clips can be quite scary. That locomotive leading with the white stripe that says Savannah Atlanta on the side was a NS Heritage unit. It's the only one painted like this, so if it derailed, the special locomotive may be scrapped. No one ever stops to think how it must feel for the driver, engineer of the train. Once the emergency brake goes on, you're just along for the ride in the inevitable collision, and it's frightening. That one train didn't derail because of braking too hard. It derailed because the track became misaligned at the crossing, causing the wheels to go off track. Turn your hazard lights on, get out of the vehicle, then proceed to wave your arms around crazily, expecting the train to stop in 20 yards. Works like a charm. Amazing video. Seems a lot are caused by so many level crossings not actually being level. But truck drivers should realize they are never going to make it across these crossings. Car drivers? Just stupidity. We have a message from John from Australia. Please listen to him, he has already faced similar situations. Please don't risk it even in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Know where you are in the dangerous situation you may have just put yourself in, and this includes truck drivers. If just over the crossing the traffic is banked up, don't do it. Don't put yourself in the middle of the crossing and stuck. If you do, you're a fool. But beyond that, get out of the vehicle straight away, especially when you're hearing train air horns, and to those who just do it to save 10 minutes or so, you are an absolute idiot, sorry. What a scary situation. Beside first responders, firemen, police, etc., I think we should all be thinking of rail workers as well. They have a potentially dangerous job as well. And so what happened? Southbound NS 732 was passing a signal at Lindale, GA around 4:15 a.m. when PTS put the train into emergency. This caused one or more coal hoppers in the middle of the train between the front end and the mid-train DPUs to bunch up and derail. Northbound 283 ran into the derailed coal hopper, throwing coal all over the locomotives and tearing the brake lines and chains off the lead unit. Then the lead unit continued moving, unable to stop, and collided head-on with 29A in Rome, Georgia. The crew were able to radio the crew of 29A in time for them to exit their locomotive. Some broken ribs, wrists and fingers off the crew that bailed off 283, but no life-threatening injuries. They'll be okay, just beat up a little from the jump. Speed at time of head-on was roughly 20 to 25. Even if they'd stayed in that could have came through, it had just been a very loud sudden stop. They most likely wasn't thinking of do or don't. The 29 crew did get off and was at a safe distance away. I can't wait to read the NTSB report on this one. Write in the comments, maybe you know the details about what happened. Many thanks to the Wide World of Trains channel for the video. I have long wanted to demonstrate how cars get stuck on railway tracks. Semi-truck stuck on train tracks with train coming. You won't believe this one. The train as a whole in this action-packed video about a train shot in and around Dunkirk, New York. Hey truck drivers, if this happens to you, don't try to fix it first thing. Call it in immediately. You never know when a train is due. They were lucky here as there was a good line of sight. That's not always the case. Every crossing controlled or not has an emergency telephone number posted on a small blue sign. Use it. These lowboy trailers have a small gas or diesel motor in the neck, the part that sits above the truck's rear tires, that powers a set of hydraulic rams that allows the trailer neck to disconnect from the low-slung flat section so the cargo can be easily driven on or off without having to climb up over the trailer's tires at the rear. These rams also adjust the ride height of the nose of the trailer. The pickup seems to be attempting to jump-start that small motor so the truck driver can then lift the trailer nose to get more ground clearance and hopefully be able to get himself unstuck from the tracks. For at least 40 years Swedish Trucks has used the truck's hydraulic pump, the one that of course should be standard on every truck that pulls a trailer like this. And second, why didn't he lifted the truck in the rear with the air suspension? Didn't he had that extremely common feature either? And third, why didn't he lock all the diff locks on both drive axles? Didn't he had that feature either? Well then this had to be the most useless truck ever for this job. The main thing is that they were not injured and they were able to remove the equipment from the railway crossing.